Welcome back, 7-footers. I know you missed us, but we are back and ready for our next segment.
We are.
And this is actually going to be probably a lot longer than our normal second segments. And
like Lexi agrees. She's like, this is going to be...
we have our good friend right here.
Yeah.
We need to kick things off with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are just...
Oh, boy.
Really not doing well with an 0-6 start so far. And
no, not well at all.
It's not looking good because... 6 games into the season and they fire their head coach who led them to their only title ever. Well, in 55 years. Just a couple decades. But Ty Lue's fired. We have the interim coach right now,
Who doesn't want to be there.
who doesn't want to be there. And we have Kevin Love sidelined for another month with a toe injury. He's currently in a walking boot at practice. And now we have J.R. Smith saying he wants a trade and that he doesn't think Cleveland wants him there because he's apparently not playing now. So we have a lot to dissect here. Why don't we kick this off with Ty Lue? The man coached them, the best player in the world, and got them a title in 55 years, and you think he's the problem?
So I think that's sort of part of the challenge, right? Like, you never know how good a coach is that coaches LeBron James because he's so good. So you're never able to assess that coach fully as to what their capabilities are. I was excited for this season for the Cavs. I was like, okay, now we get to see what Ty Lue does with Kevin Love as his focal point. They got some young pieces.
Kevin Love led team.
Yeah,
we were so excited for it. And
then I said Minnesota Kevin Love, all NBA Kevin Love. I was excited for this.
Exactly. But I mean, do we really think Ty Lue is your biggest problem right now in Cleveland?
No, I think Dan Gilbert's your biggest problem in Cleveland.
I mean, he says he has no issue with the front office, and even though reports do say that he defied the
Kobe
front
Altman.
office
GM Kobe Altman.
by playing his veterans, J.R. Smith, Kyle Korver, and they wanted the younger guys in the starting lineup, which is why now J.R. is kind of coming out with his beef a little bit.
Yeah.
But what do we think about this?
Look, I think that roster is not very good.
It's a young roster. They need... It's not the right pieces to a puzzle.
And I think there was some discussion. I think Kobe Altman, the GM, and possibly Dan Gilbert wanted to push the younger guys more. And I think Ty was like, look, we got Kevin Love, we got Tristan Thompson, we got J.R. Smith.
We have finals guys.
We got some guys here. If we play this right, we could be a playoff team, what have you, possibly, who knows. And that didn't work out well. Kevin Love is hurt now. J.R. is a shell of himself really in many ways. Look, that roster's not good. And honestly, I think there's some conflict with, not front office per se, I mean, although that's part of it. Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavs, he just may not be the kind of owner that Ty wants to ultimately, run the team for or coach the team for. So
I mean, here's the thing: Ty Lue's walking away with $15 million, so he didn't really lose.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Like he is just fine.
You know, this man is gonna coach again.
Well, we hope, right? Again, we don't know what people think of him as a coach because his success was so tied directly to LeBron James. Now, no LeBron James. What does that mean?
Isn't it crazy to think, though, how much has happened to the Cavs who were just in the finals to right now?
Well, that shows you how good LeBron James is, right? I mean,
I know. I know.
And how much...
I know.
All right.
I do.
And how much of the sun he is, right? I mean, he is the sun in the center of the solar system that is the NBA, right? In so many ways.
It's like poetry. Straight poetry.
And so there's challenges with that, of course. And look, Cleveland's just not good right now. That roster isn't very good. Larry Drew, who Kobe Altman wanted to be the interim coach, and Larry's been around long enough. He knows. He's like, no, I don't want no interim tag. Either name me the head coach or I'm out on this.
Could you blame him? He wants a contract.
Well, because he knows that those guys aren't going to listen to him if he's not the head coach. So he's like, forget that. He's been around long enough to know how that game is played. So
yeah, but we also have to give him credit where it's due. Larry Drew, who stepped in the finals, or in the postseason.
Oh well, yeah, when Ty was out,
when Ty had some health issues.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I mean, give the man some credit, and I think he deserves a contract. I think what he's doing is smart. The way he set it up, he was like, nothing permanent has been set.
For sure. I mean, look. There's a limited amount of NBA jobs. It's only 30 head coaching jobs. So to be in that elite club of being a head coach, I mean, that's huge. But that goes to show you if he's willing, he doesn't even want to take the interim tag. Mm-hmm. That tells you there's something deeper going on there. And as I said, I think it involves owner Dan Gilbert.
Well, exactly, and here's the thing. He probably wants money, but let's also break it down here a little bit and tell who the Cavs are still paying.
Well, I mean,
They have the payroll of other coaches around the league at this point.
I think it's old David Blatt money. So, like...
It's like, where they don't even have money at this point.
Well, no. Dan Gilbert has money. It's just that he's cheap and doesn't want to spend it on certain things. But again, the Cavs have now become that dumpster fire type of organization. When you think about it, I used to call the Kings a dumpster fire. I'm going to have to call, because look, the Kings are not bad. We'll talk about them later, I think. But the Cavs, they're the new dumpster fire, I think.
Do you think that this roots back to anything involving the Kyrie trade? He wanted a trade.
Well, look, Kyrie
wants a trade.
Kyrie knew if LeBron's out of here, this is going to be not where I want to hang out.
Exactly.
I mean, and Kyrie already didn't want to play with LeBron to start with. So that was its own set of situations. But now he's like, forget it. Out of here.
Yeah.
So he's happy. He's no longer part of this situation. He's on Boston now, which is, a much better situation than this Cleveland Cavaliers situation.
Let's move to another level of drama with the Cavs because we're still not done. J.R. Smith comes out today on November 1st. They're at practice. Reporters are all there. He's doing his, normal interviews. And Cleveland.com was first to report it that in an interview, a reporter asked if he wants a trade. He said, yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
And he seemed like he had a little chip on his shoulder. So the reporter went further to ask him if the Cavs know if he wants to trade. He said, yeah. And then the reporter asked, how did the Cavs know? What happened? Was there a conversation? Was there something? He said, I mean, they don't want me here, so obviously they know. He also came out a little bit later in the day and said, to feel like you're going to play one day and then you just don't play, that's disrespectful.
Look, JR's a proud veteran, but to put the other side of it, JR's also not playing well either, right? So it's a two-sided street
It's
here.
a double-edged sword for him.
For sure. Look, again, this roster has problems. It's not good, right? It's just void of talent. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Kevin Love is hurt. Your best player is who? Rodney Hood? No, I'm being serious. Like, I don't know. Is it Rodney Hood? Is it Jordan Clarkson? Is it?
And then you have
Cedi Osman. I mean, I don't know.
And you have your rookie out, so
Colin Sexton's.
Yeah.
I just don't know what's going on there. So, I would say that Cleveland again is not the place. If you're a vet who thinks that he's got something up in the tank and wants to do something, I don't know if that's the place for you. No. Actually, I do know it is not. So.
Exactly. And speaking of another veteran, Kevin Love, the face of the franchise now. It's not looking good for your best player who is trying to prove that he's not injury prone.
Well, man.
And he's out in a walking boot right now with a toe injury, probably out for about a month.
This is unfortunate because, as you know, I was looking forward to this. I was like, we might get the return of Minnesota Kevin Love, an All-NBA guy.
And he deserves this shot.
And I don't think we're going to get that.
No.
And the injury history just may be there from it. And look, he's a big man. And when big men's feet get injured, that's problematic. Look, even though they haven't signed up a contract, don't be surprised if Kevin Love is part of trade talks in the trade package somewhere down the line.
And that's another problem for Kevin Love because this is going to hurt his talks with trade.
Well, I mean, I think, look, the contract is what it is. So it's about who's willing to take on that contract, right? What team is willing to have him and what role would he be in? Because clearly it doesn't appear that he can lead a team and be the number one option. Can he go back to his role like he was in Cleveland as a number two or not even number two, a number three?
Do you think Kevin Love would look good in a Lakers jersey?
Well,
you can't deny the chemistry that him and LeBron James have.
He did go to college in UCLA, and there was always talks about him teaming up with some guys and going back to LA. Look, I would never say never in this league. Anything is possible.
Especially after this past
year. The question is, I don't know if Magic and Rob and the Lakers brass want to do that. I think they're going to bring in salary so for someone who's a little bit more reliable and who can help LeBron and be that guy. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kevin can be that right now.
For me, if I was Magic, the injury history would be a problem for me.
For sure.
But when you think about the chemistry he does have when he's clicking with LeBron,
it's excellent.
It's incredible. They've won a chip together, and we always talk about the Lakers wanting to be contending, and they're shooting for a 3 seed right now, but with their start,
they ain't making no
could be a problem.
Not this current team.
Could be a problem. And you know what? Since we're talking about the Lakers, let's talk about LeBron and the Lakers. Really bad start for them.
Yeah,
really
look,
bad. They finally won a game on Halloween,
yeah.
and LeBron said they had to scare some people, making a joke out of it. Classic LeBron.
And they won again last night. Look, it was just Halloween, of course. Here's the thing about the Lakers. The roster as it's currently constructed is not a number 3 seed in the Western Conference. It just isn't. There aren't enough shooters on that team.
I agree.
There's just not.
But
you cannot have
some things can be moved
LeBron,
around.
Rondo, Lonzo, Lance, and JaVale McGee all. I don't even know what that is. There's no spacing on the floor with that lineup.
No, it's a lot of one-sided chips. We need pieces.
Yeah,
different pieces.
Those guys can all move the ball and play make, but we need shooters, man.
Outside shooters.
Who can shoot on that team?
Yeah.
Right, and that LeBron functions best when he's surrounded by shooters.
Absolutely.
And right now there aren't enough.
That's why he clicks so well with Kyrie Irving.
It's not KCP. It's not like it. I think Rondo should go to the bench. Keep Lonzo in the starting lineup. And look,
I agree.
As we know,
I think Rondo's going to be fire off the bench.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on Halloween, Lonzo played most of the minutes compared to Rondo.
As we know, this is likely not the team that they're going to be fielding going into the playoffs.
No, absolutely not.
This seems a little bit. Right now, if the playoffs will start today, they won't even make the playoffs. So forget about that. But if their goal is to make a playoff push, this current roster is not it. Mm-hmm. It's just not.
Well, a lot of stuff can happen before the playoffs.
Oh, we got the trade deadline. Listen, Laker fans, if your hope is we want to go to the playoffs this year, don't dismay. This is not going to be the team that's going to the playoffs. Yes, LeBron will be there, Brandon Ingram, but who knows? Who knows? Guys could get moves. People could come over. You never know what could happen. Stay tuned. But this current team, the way they are structured, cannot shoot, and they don't play defense either. So I don't know. And if they're not outscoring you, good luck, man.
Well, just before that win on Halloween, LeBron James said something very, very interesting about the Lakers potentially. I'm assuming, probably, seemingly, it's about their 0-4 start. He was in the locker room, and it was post-game interviews after another loss, and he said, "You probably don't want to be around me when my patience runs out. I'm serious." Was
Daddy LeBron.
Was King of the LA Castle getting impatient with his 0-4 team?
Daddy LeBron gotta son his kids. Look.
Daddy LeBron.
He knew what he was signing up for and what he was getting with his team.
But I think this was his silent warning to the team.
Oh.
Let's get it together.
Listen,
or the king is going to be angry.
Bron is the master of subtweeting and subtle shade and, passive aggressively talking to his teammates. And they all heard it. Look, again, the young guys need to get better, but he signed a 4-year deal, right? He knows that this squad ain't winning no championship. It's just not. That crew will not win a championship. They're not good enough. They're just not.
Not right now.
They're not.
They're not.
The question is, who can develop out of the young guys, Lonzo, Brandon, and can they make leaps and go forward? And then everyone else, Rondo, Lance Stevenson, McGee, these guys are on 1-year deals.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, they are out. They are expiring contracts.
This is not going to be the same squad going into it. And LeBron, this is his coaching year, in my opinion. I think he's coaching these guys.
This is him coaching them up.
Yeah, he knows who he's keeping and who he's not. Him and Magic are on the same page. And that's the comfortableness you get as a LeBron fan, knowing that for some reason he lets you know in a weird way that everything's going to be all right. It's going to be okay.
Except he's not happy with your play. And he's not.
Exactly.
But to be fair, he isn't lighting the world on fire himself either, right? Let's just be honest and call it what it is. He also isn't lighting the world on fire himself, So he's certainly not playing on the defensive end of the floor. Look, I
agree, but I do think he's still putting up numbers.
And I'm not saying that in year 16 he needs to be playing all-out hard defense for 82 games. He physically can't do it.
No.
And yes,
most players can't do it.
Right. And yes, he's putting up numbers, but,
He's not putting up LeBron expectation numbers.
Well, but are they?
Nothing is ever good enough.
Are they making the team better? Is he making the guys better? Right now.
We're going for game 9.
It's early.
We just got off a slump.
All I'm saying is
maybe they needed this win to kick it up.
LeBron teams, whenever he moves, historically don't start well. This roster's not good, which we discussed. Changes will have to be made for sure. And We're gonna have to wait and see. Does Lonzo and does Brandon Ingram, or do Lonzo? I can't even speak English. Do those 2 young players develop the way that they show the potential that they can?
A lot of people are liking what they're seeing from LeBron and Lonzo.
We'll see.
There is chemistry on the floor there. So,
We'll
I
see.
mean, it all goes back to, and I told him before when we were off air, I hate being that person, but it is early.
It's early.
It is
It's
early.
early.
And they had a slow start. And moving on to another team that had a slow start, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, we also have to take into consideration Russ had
Russ is
knee
hurt,
surgery.
yep,
He's
yep.
just getting back and his feet wet. But there is no excuse now for this 0-4 after their loss to Boston recently, 101-95.
Well, but they've won a couple of games since then, right? They beat Phoenix the other night.
They won games since then. But I mean, it comes down to a lot of decision making too.
Well, look, Andre Robertson is not playing.
And he's not being reevaluated until December.
Right,
minimum.
that's hurting this team because defensive identity was what the team's going to be,
Yeah.
and they're not playing good defense right
He
now.
was a standout.
While they beat Phoenix, they gave up 120 something points to them at home. So or to the Kings, excuse me, lost to the Kings at home. So that's not good.
Yeah.
Number 2, again, there are not enough shooters on this team.
And they're not even getting open shots.
I mean,
They're not.
Who's your best shooter? Alex Abrinas?
It's a lot of contested shots too. They need to find open shots. They need to make better decisions. Just the other night against the Celtics, they have literally a few seconds on the clock. They give the ball to Russ, who's shooting what percentage from the field?
And Billy Donovan has been unable to, in his time
Bad
there,
choice.
get Russ to play within the framework of some kind of a system or some kind of an offense, And at this stage, I don't know if Russ is going to ever do that, right?
Yeah.
Russ is who he is, and the Thunder have made their bed with that. Again, that's okay if the defensive identity was who you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Without Robertson, they're not that.
No.
So they're not good enough offensively to beat the top teams in the league. So I don't know what this squad is.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Russ doesn't seem to be too concerned. He said the other night that OKC has 71 games left. I mean, and they have time. I get it, which we just preached how early it is, but this is what happened last year.
Well, especially for them, because their thing is, if they're gonna, because they were a playoff team last year, you don't want to fall behind the 8 ball too early, right? Because then you're gonna have to go on one of those long runs of winning 10 out of 12.
And then you're gassed by the time you get to the playoffs. And think about how about this statistic? It's been 8 years since any NBA team has made the playoffs with an 0-4 start.
Look,
If history repeats itself.
so we're gonna talk
not
out
looking good
of,
for
we're gonna
OKC.
talk out of both sides of our mouth right now. On the one hand, it's early.
For certain teams, that's okay.
On the other hand, I just don't know where this team is going to get its scoring from if Russ isn't hitting on all cylinders. Paul George was putting up numbers, but he's putting up numbers by virtue of volume.
They're empty
like,
numbers.
His efficiency hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
And, we already know Russ is not going to be efficient. So someone else on the team's got to be. And right now, they're not. And, the temperature on the seat for Billy Donovan could be turning up. That's all I'll say there with Oklahoma City. That seat could be getting a little bit warm in Oklahoma.
Alrighty then. All right, let's talk about what's up with our baby Sixers. What is going on with our baby Sixers? Okay, I just have to say that Markelle Fultz is
Not good at basketball?
he's not
He's not good at basketball right now?
Hey, the number 1 pick.
Not good at basketball right now?
Come
Look,
on. What is wrong with this team?
So
What is your biggest problem right now?
part of it, I think, is our expectations of the Sixers, right? Last year, they ended the season on that 17-game winning streak, and everybody's like, oh, they're going to make this next huge leap. We all need to calm down. That 17-game winning streak, I think, fooled a lot of people. They beat a lot of teams who were either tanking or resting guys down the stretch. And we saw them get exposed a bit when they played a lot of bit. When they played the Celtics last year in the Eastern Conference
It was
semifinals.
2 different paces.
Look, to me right now in the Eastern Conference, it's Toronto, it's Boston, it's Milwaukee. Not necessarily in that order.
I
but
agree.
Those are the 3 best teams.
Easy.
The Sixers are number 4 somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
Defensively, they're good. They're really good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Simmons and Embiid are excellent defenders. This team is not good offensively. It's just not.
They just don't have it together. Ben Simmons is still not shooting. Markelle is hot and cold.
More cold than hot.
Embiid is making classic mistakes that should have been fixed by now.
The problem with Embiid is that defensively he's excellent. And while he puts up excellent numbers offensively, if you watch him closely, he turns the ball over too much.
Classic old
he's
mistakes.
He doesn't have quick, fluid moves on the offensive end.
No.
Look, and that's going to take some time to develop. But again, we all assumed because they went to the conference semis last year, it's like, okay, next up, Eastern Conference Finals. Let's slow down.
Not if they're playing like this.
And they moving JJ Redick to the bench. And I know why they did it. Look, they have to show Markelle that we've got faith in you. We picked you number one. You're going to be good. Part of that is also, making themselves feel better about skipping out on Jason Tatum, which,
I mean, nobody is going to recover from that loss in Philadelphia.
How they look right now, Jason Tatum was on that team. Probably pretty good.
Joel Embiid and Tatum?
And Simmons, just saying.
Ooh,
so,
that's nasty.
So, they need to develop an offensive identity.
Absolutely.
Redick gets his minutes, but with Markelle on the floor and with Simmons and Embiid, out of that trio, Simmons is your best shooter. That is a I'm sorry, not Simmons. Embiid is your best shooter. That's a problem when your 7-foot center is your best shooter. That's not good. Not good at all.
Oh my gosh.
Because your guys who handle the ball the most, Markelle and Simmons, Simmons won't even shoot.
No, he's still not shooting. And that shows a lack of confidence. Shoot the ball. If you've been working on your shot, which everybody and their cousins
I'm not
and
saying
mothers
he's going to
know
be a
that was the problem.
35-cent three-point shooter, but my man,
take a shot or two.
Loosen up the defense. Because again, this will all be fine in the regular season. They'll win their games. Where it will show up will be the postseason.
Absolutely, and that's what happened to them last year.
Teams will know, don't worry, Markelle and Ben don't shoot. We'll pack the paint, and we'll make life miserable for Embiid. He'll turn the ball over.
He'll get frustrated. Yep.
Hey.
We saw this.
So that's what's wrong with the Sixers.
I'm going to be really, really upset if we read the same book again with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, it's looking that way so far, the early part of the season.
All right.
Lexi's so upset about that, she's tearing up paper behind us. That's what you're hearing in the background. She's like, the Sixers aren't very good.
Okay.
Right, Mama? Yep.
How about this one? What's up with the Houston Rockets? 1 through 5? Their defense is what? Non-existent?
Look, the Rockets are still on that failed championship hangover from last year.
Well, they need to get over that and chug a Pedialyte because it's go time, baby. It's go time.
D'Antoni came out the other day and just said, we got no juice. They're just not playing well. Defensively, they're not good. Losing Ariza and Mbah a Moute hurt for sure.
And James Harden is still out.
Well, Harden's hurt
doubtful.
with the hamstring.
Yeah.
Capella's not playing with the same aggressiveness he played with last year. Look, that loss hurt them last year in the Western Conference Finals.
Bad breakup.
It did. It's just they have not recovered from it because they were so close. They raced out to they were the best team in the league last year in the regular season, from beginning to end. They
without Melo,
played all the minutes, doing all what they had to do, and it just did not materialize in a championship. And they got so close. And again, that matters, and that hurt them, and they have not gotten over it.
Well, plus there's the bitterness of Chris Paul having to sit out because of injury. When you know you're that close,
it hurt them, and losing Jeff Bzdelik, who was the assistant coach who coached their defense, along with Ariza and Mbah a Moute, their defense stinks now.
Well, let's break it down with this simple equation. When you add Melo, you lose defense.
Look, we know that.
Defense.
That is what that is. And honestly, with James being out, and the Rockets are in town this weekend to play the Nets, so I'll be at that game tomorrow, which is November 2nd. And I'm just going to be curious to talk to the guys about, what's going on with the team. Is it a hangover effect? That's what I think it is. What's going on? And we'll see when Harden probably isn't going to play that game, but they should be able to beat the Nets with what they got. And if they don't, that's going to go a long way in telling me. It's almost the reverse, right? Last year, when they came to Brooklyn in February and they beat the Nets in a game because the Nets play hard, and sometimes it's
they do play hard,
and teams,
especially that game last night.
Yeah, teams can get picked off by them, and the way the Rockets pushed and battled, because it was the second time of a back-to-back for them, I believe. That's what made me believe they want this. I'll be very curious to see how they show up and play against Brooklyn tomorrow night.
I agree. I really do hope they have a shift very soon because they need it, and there's so much potential on that squad.
They need one.
Okay, well, let's talk about a squad that we don't know what their potential is right now. The Washington Wizards. 1 through 6.
Look, the John Wall and Bradley Beal experiment, I think it's time to end that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely run its course at this point, and it goes back to the old argument. Who's the better player?
Right. John Wall thinks it's him. Bradley thinks it's him. I mean,
Who do you think it is?
look, John is still the maestro and the conductor. He can still get them in and out of stuff, can still get to the rim at
He's
will.
a smart player.
And he's a very good player.
Yeah.
John can't shoot. Point guards that can't shoot are problematic in this league.
Extremely.
It's not
Especially
good.
when you're going up against Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving when he's cooking.
Bradley's a better shooter, and in the fourth quarter, you need guys to score buckets. It's Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
And look, that roster's got Austin Rivers on it.
Kelly Oubre.
Dwight Howard hasn't even played yet. Otto Porter.
He's coming back this week.
I mean, look, Scott Brooks is the next coach who may be on his way out. But it isn't even a Scott Brooks problem.
No.
It's a roster
But you always go to
construction
the
problem. Well,
coach
yeah, because it's
first.
easier to do because you can't fire the players,
Yeah.
right? It's harder to move players. Coaches are much easier to get rid of.
Yep.
But really, their problem lies within their management and their ownership. That's where their problem lies.
And you said roster construction. Do we need to finally break up the duo that is Bradley Beal
for sure.
and John Wall?
Absolutely, that's done. We've already seen it doesn't work. That's run its course. We are finished with that. You know,
Savage.
can John go somewhere and reinvent himself and play a different role on a different team? You know, can Bradley do the same? I don't know. We'll see.
You just really don't know at this point, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to this Wizards squad down the stretch when trades come along. Now we need to talk about a team that I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would be saying I thoroughly enjoy 100%.
It's a new segment.
It is a new segment. Are you guys ready for As the Wolves Turn?
Thank you. That was my idea. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Thank you for the soap opera that really derived from that. Okay, let's start with the man of the hour, Derrick Rose.
Yo, yeah.
Derrick Rose. Vintage Derrick Rose showed up on Halloween against the Utah Jazz and helped the Timberwolves. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timberwolves. What were you gonna say?
I was thinking of the Timber Puppies.
I mean, well, they are the Timber Puppies. I mean, let's just be real.
No, Derrick Rose, vintage Derrick Rose came back. The OG MVP, youngest MVP, Rookie of the Year, came back and knocked down 50 points.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the game couldn't have been written better than a fairy tale. He blocks the last shot of the game that could have potentially sent it into overtime. And the man cried after the game.
Listen,
Cried. I cried. Everybody cried.
we all know what Derrick Rose has been through in terms of on the court stuff, like the ACL tears back to back.
I mean,
just getting himself recovered from injury. I mean, it's just
Insane.
it's been tough. And so to see him dominate like he did and score 50 points in that win, it was nice for him to have that moment in the sun,
He deserved
so to
that.
speak, and sort of, you know, let people know, hey, like I can still play in this league, and it was great
And
to
I'm
see.
not going anywhere.
It is not a harbinger, however, that old school MVP Derrick Rose is back. Let's calm down and pump the brakes on that. Listen,
Classic moment ruined.
I'm just saying though, like if your thought process is the MVP Derrick Rose's return, like no, that's not what it is. Can he be a productive player in this league? Yes, and I think that should be what fans of Derrick Rose and what he shoots towards.
Well, yeah.
Being a productive player in the NBA again.
Exactly, and I think that is the narrative that everyone has that I've been seeing that's cheering for him. I don't think anybody thinks, you know, he's fully back 100% before ACL tears, before meniscus tears.
Right.
But, like you said, he's proving himself. I can be here. All
Sure.
you people that are sleeping on me and
Yes.
talking bad on my name,
Yes.
I can be here as a basketball player. I
can still play
produce
in this league.
on the court.
I can still play in this league.
And especially, I think it says a lot about him that Minnesota, it's evident and out there in public that they're not okay right now. They're going through a lot behind the scenes.
Drama.
And he came out and produced when they needed it. That says a lot about a player, a lot about a character's player. And when you break down this here a little bit, the man has been through a lot in his basketball career.
For sure.
09, Rookie of the Year, riding a high. 2010, youngest MVP ever. And then in 2012, you tear your ACL. 2012, again, you tear your meniscus. And then after that, in 2015, you tear it again.
Yeah.
And then you come back after rehabbing for X amount of years.
There's no doubt that it's a feel-good story and a feel-good moment.
Exactly, and I think that's what it was about.
And yes, and that's what everybody should remember. And, you know, applaud that and applaud the basketball performance. That
Yeah.
it was great for Derrick Rose.
Absolutely.
He will not be the savior of Minnesota because that team has got more problems than he can.
No, he'll
Solve.
definitely help.
He'll help. And look, he said he wants to win Sixth Man of the Year. We'll see. Look,
That's what he's shooting for.
we shall see.
He's
Again,
been good off the bench.
it is early. All right, let's see what kind of numbers he's putting up in the middle of January
Agreed.
and where we are. Is he going to make it through the whole season healthy? Let's
I-
you know. But be happy for Derrick Rose in this moment as a basketball player for what he was able to come back and produce last night.
Yeah, and talking about his game and just his game, I just watched an interview that he did recently with NBA TV where he explained, it was actually really intriguing from a basketball standpoint. He explained how when he tore, I think it was his ACL or his meniscus, they played the play over, and he said, I was playing reckless basketball. I wasn't using my footing right. I wasn't moving the right way. I was playing at 150 miles an hour, but not in 150 miles an hour in a good way.
Right,
I was playing
right.
reckless basketball.
Right.
And when I say talk about his game from that standpoint, it shows that he's sat down and he's been a student of the game, and he's realized, okay, I need to play smart ball.
Well,
I
that's
need
the thing,
to get on
right?
the court and make the right
Yeah.
decisions other than making the save the day decisions.
Can he reinvent himself into a player who no longer has the same level of explosiveness and athleticism, and play a different brand of basketball? That's going to be the key. That's what we're looking to see.
I think, like you said, I don't think he's going to be the savior of Minnesota because I think they have a lot bigger problems than Derrick Rose having a good game. But I do think we're going to see a transformation of Derrick Rose that it's going to be fun to watch in its own.
Yeah.
It's not going to be about winning with him. It's going to be about him changing his game.
Yeah, and we'll see if he's able to do it.
Exactly. All about the game here with him. And now, let's get on to our Bucks. Our Giannis Antetokounmpo-led Bucks. Now,
Wait, are we done with the Wolves? You know about Jimmy Butler?
well, I was done with Derrick Rose, but yeah, we can, yeah.
Can I get my cat? You want to buy any of those guys?
I'm sorry, I got too excited about Giannis.
As-
sorry, they're playing the Celtics right now.
As,
Sorry.
as the Wolves turn, the guy.
No, as the Wolves turn, just hit a commercial break right there. But no,
As the Wolves turn.
let's get into this Jimmy Butler mess or mystery.
Look,
we can
you know,
call it.
we can just top line it. The bottom line is, and Jimmy rested that night. He didn't play the game that Derrick Rose went off.
No.
Cat played well that game.
Yes.
The Jimmy Cat situation is still not good, and Jimmy needs to be
No.
off that team.
Well, he didn't practice ahead of the Halloween game, and
Right.
there was a lot of
And
speculation.
they said it was scheduled rest.
Bad blood.
Shams Charania has said that this is just more of Jimmy's plot to be like, look, get me out of here. And we do know that potentially the Rockets offered 4 number 1 draft picks for Jimmy to the Wolves. Look, again, Jimmy needs to be out of Minnesota. If Minnesota's goal is Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins are the future of our team, if you want the Minnesota Timberwolves to no longer be the Timber Puppies and no longer be the soap opera that is as the Wolves turn, Jimmy has to go. You gotta move him.
Absolutely agreed. He
So-
came out to Rachel Nichols and said that there wasn't any bad blood with him missing and that his body hurt and that he didn't want to cause any injury because of unnecessary soreness. But we really don't know what's going on.
Jimmy's gotta go.
Jimmy's
If-
got to go.
And not because I don't think that Jimmy's a good player, mind you, but
no, it doesn't fit.
he's already drawn that line in the sand.
It's
and
not a good
again,
fit.
and the Timberwolves they've made their choice. They extended Cat and Andrew Wiggins. So they have said that is the future of this team. Okay, cool. Then wash your hands of the Jimmy situation. Granted, Thibodeau's in charge there, so that's still causing some issues, but he won't be long for that job either. So
It's just so
if
interesting.
Glenn Taylor wants to do something different, do what you gotta do, my man.
Well, they were so close at one point.
Last year, before Jimmy got hurt, I mean, they were on their way to a 4 seed, I believe, or 3 seed.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt, and then
And
you know
the numbers changed drastically.
they
because
stopped
that's
playing
how much
defense, and
that
that's how much
affects
Jimmy.
that
That's how
team.
much Jimmy means to that squad. But again, your 2 young stars, it's untenable. So we'll see.
And this Rockets buzz didn't come out of nowhere.
No, it didn't.
So-
You know that's of course Timberwolves leaking stuff about it, and look,
It's a mess right now
it is a mess,
in
and
Minnesota, and people know it, and you could see it.
if look, Thibodeau's also doing it from the standpoint of like he wants to try to save his job, right? So it's like he wants to win now. He doesn't want to get rid of Jimmy because he knows if Jimmy goes, things are going to go downhill pretty quickly over there in Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
look, we shall see. We shall see.
So my question to you is: did Jimmy break Cat?
Look, you can see it when Jimmy's on the floor with Cat. Sometimes it's not a good situation. He may not have broken him, but he may have got him to the brink, and not in a good way. And if Cat wants to be super successful, and the Wolves want to be successful, again, they got to move Jimmy.
I agree. I think that's the only move you can make in Minnesota that's actually going to cause some change.
Yeah. You got to move
hopefully
Jimmy.
for the good.
Got to move Jimmy.
And like we say, it's not about Jimmy being a bad player or anything. He's incredible.
It's just it's
just
untenable.
not a good fit.
It's not a good fit. It's not a good fit.
The piece of the puzzle just doesn't fit.
Nope.
And it happens sometimes.
It bees that way sometimes.
Well, let's go to a team that is winning.
Mm.
The Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Who actually missed a couple of games because he had a concussion protocol, but they're still undefeated.
Still undefeated without Giannis. That says a lot about your team and Malcolm Brogdon.
Well, it also says a lot about Coach Mike Budenholzer, right? And if you watch Bucks games like I have, they're playing so differently right now. Mm-hmm. Giannis is shooting. Everyone's shooting threes. There's space on the floor. And the offense,
knocking down shots like
the offense has more secondary action to it. It's more creative. And look, this team's a problem. Like they're playing defense. They're scoring more efficiently.
They're a silent problem though.
And people, because everyone was like, Boston, look, Milwaukee's slowly sneaking in there. And look, I said, I predicted preseason, my pick for MVP was Giannis. And look,
you're right.
They sneak up to a 2 seed, and they win 59 games. Giannis is going to be right there with Steph Curry and whomever for MVP. So
and they have a major game going on right now
against the Celtics. Very, very true.
Really good game. Can they stay undefeated? What do you think?
It'll be interesting. I want to see them play against. And is Giannis even playing tonight? Let's check that out. Hold on 1 second, people, while we pull up some numbers. Yep, Giannis is playing. He's got 14 and 5 right now. So yeah, look, I think that it'll be interesting to see because the Celtics play great defense, but that new offense they're playing in Milwaukee, it's great, man. And with Giannis leading the charge with Brogdon and Chris Middleton and
they are clicking.
That crew, Bledsoe.
And I think we're seeing a different Giannis.
Oh yeah, I mean he's shooting threes now. I mean.
When you have Giannis sinking threes, that's a problem.
If he starts making them, yikes.
Problem.
Yikes.
And he's just so massive.
Oh yeah, he's incredible. I mean, Giannis is so good.
Incredible. I mean, all you could say about the Bucks is that we want to see more of what we're seeing.
Absolutely, we like the Bucks. Bucks are doing well.
Yeah, loving these Bucks. So, Gerard, before we wrap things up, give me an update on your pledge to watch the Bulls' first 12 games.
So,
how is that going?
I've seen 1.5 games.
And I think we're shooting for game 9. But I mean, nobody could probably disagree after that blowout against the Warriors the other night.
They're so painful to watch. I mean, look, they really are. I mean, they're in full tank mode. There's some bright spots.
They're painful to watch.
They are. The bright spots are Wendell Carter Jr., their rookie, and Zach LaVine, who's healthy. He's shooting the ball pretty well. I mean,
he's a standout player for that team.
Remember when Minnesota had Zach LaVine?
I do.
And Wiggins and Towns, and then they traded to get Jimmy Butler, and Zach LaVine was part of that? I wonder if things would look differently now with Zach LaVine there instead of Jimmy Butler and Towns and Wiggins. Not saying they'd be better or like they were last year going towards the playoffs, but I wonder. I mean, Thibodeau couldn't coach a team like that because he'd pull his hair out. But
it pains me to compliment Gerard, but I have always told you this since day one. I think you would be an incredible GM.
I'm just saying. Look,
I really do.
Look.
I really do.
If your goal is to build around young assets and young pieces, right? LaVine, Wiggins, Towns, and you get the right person in there to mold and motivate that crew. Thibodeau wasn't that guy.
Yeah.
Because he grinds on those, and those young guys aren't buying in. Now look, I'm not gonna put this all on Thibodeau. Part of that's Cat and Wiggins. Like, they need to step up defensively. Andrew Wiggins should be an all-NBA first-team defense kind of player, and he's not.
Oh, yeah. Well, it goes back to what Jimmy Butler said, too. Why am I your best player?
So they gotta step their games up, too. But, you know,
exactly.
It's just interesting.
It's the best move that could be made right now.
But look, let's just say it like this. 7-footers, and by the way, you can see our info here, 7-footers, at JS Hector, at Jenna Lemoncelli. That pledge to watch the first 9, it's over. Like I will.
He already failed.
I wish
I put money on this.
I will no longer be tuning into them on League Pass unless they're playing one of the upper echelon teams in the league and something exciting.
Well, maybe if they're playing the Kings.
The Kings
or the Hornets.
The Kings who, by the way, not much of a dumpster fire.
Don't be sleeping on my Marvin Bagley Kings.
We'll get to all the Kings, I'm sure, in next week's episode, I'm sure.
That's a tease in the broadcast world.
Exactly.
So stick around. Did you have a question for me, Gerard?
Oh, I did. So, you were talking all this junk about Kawhi Leonard when he was hurt last year. You're like, why are we even worried about this guy? Is he even any good at basketball? Blah, 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 blah. Toronto Raptors, pretty good. 8-1, I believe the record, 7-1, something like that. Only lost one game. Kawhi Leonard looking real good. Real good. Leading that team, by the way. What are your thoughts on Kawhi now? Channel Lemon Selling?
Oh. I can't be a hypocrite. I am the first one to admit that while I did rag on Kawhi Leonard last year, it was only because I was emotionally hurt that he wasn't speaking. It wasn't necessarily his play. I never, ever said anything about his play.
You sure
Trying to dig myself out of a hole
I was
here.
going to say, not working so well.
Okay, listen, I'll be the first one to say I am a hypocrite. I had some notions last year because the man wasn't speaking. I just want to know where he was. I was worried.
His play on court is speaking for itself so far.
Exactly, him in those hands. Ben Simmons was frightened
look,
after he played Kawhi.
Listen, Kawhi just didn't like playing in San Antonio. That's all it was.
Okay.
He's done. He's healthy now. Listen, as I said last week, and I'll say it again. Toronto won 59 games last year. They essentially swapped out DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard, who was a superior player,
Best two-way player in the league.
and Danny Green.
Woo, chills.
The Raptors are going to
Baby, the Raptors are going to be so
The
fun
Raptors
this
are going to
season.
be very. Look at it.
Kyle.
Kyle.
Kyle
It's going to
Lowry.
be between Toronto, Boston, and Milwaukee. It's going to be an interesting race to see who gets that top spot in the East for the playoffs.
You know what? I was a little bit scared for the East, but man, I'm
the
excited.
East is top heavy, just like the West is.
And really quick, I just wanted to mention, although the trade with DeMar and Kawhi wasn't exactly even, we have to say, just really quick, we don't even have to get into it, DeMar DeRozan is clicking.
Oh yeah,
Clicking.
He's playing well in San Antonio.
In
Pop's
San
gonna
Antonio.
have him playing well. And look, the
And
Spurs
they
are
look like they're getting along very well.
the Spurs are playing well. I mean,
Especially without DeJounte Murray, who is
Right.
rehabbing right now and showing a little bit of it online. He's already up and walking after surgery.
Yeah,
It's
look,
good.
the Spurs are an championship contender, but listen,
Not this year.
Kawhi, excuse me. DeMar, playing with Pop, we like it.
And now I don't even have to go all the way to Toronto to see Drake because he'll just be right down in Texas. So works out for me too.
Oh boy.
All right, guys. Well, that is all we have for you today. But
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We
as
appreciate
always, we love it.
Follow us right here.
Yes, follow us on social media, hang out with us, and come spend every single Wednesday, even though today is Thursday, with the 7 Footers.
Peace.
Jenna and Rod. That's us.
Lexi says bye too. She's down here tearing things up.
Oh my God.